Question for you. You're in.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to those of you here at Butterfield and those joining online. Looks like we have 12 more online on Zoom right now. Welcome to the March meeting of the Popular Astronomy Club. And let's see, I need to where'd my share screen go? Yeah. Okay, now you should be able to no. Why did that come up? What does that came up on the screen here? Oh, you clear the recording message there and we'll get started here. Okay. Moved all over here. Let's that's okay. Well, let's start. Okay. Okay. I have quite a bit on the agenda. We'll start off with a brief business meeting. We have some awards to hand out tonight, and then the main feature will be Smorgasbord talks by our members here. And I think now we're going to have 5 talks coming in. So we get started with the business meeting here, called to order. And for my report, I'm glad to report that we have a couple of new members. We since the last time we met here, Jen Parker and Steve Young have joined, and we have a new member in presence here tonight. Up there, he's right in front of the lamp. I couldn't see. Jim Cusack?
Dan Cusack.
Dan Cusack.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
And we have some visitors.
We have a visitor.
Yeah, 3 visitors I've already met. Raise your hand.
If you're a visitor,
My granddaughter, Eleni.
Eleni, welcome. Mike's granddaughter. We have other visitors here.
Roy and Mary Jo Dow.
Roy and Mary Jo
Dowell.
Dowell. Okay, well, good to have you here tonight. The other side to that, so far this year, we've gotten a few months into the new year, and there are 13 of you out there who were members last year who have not yet renewed this year. So if you haven't renewed, get online and download a renewal form and send in your renewal to Mike. If you don't do that pretty soon, you get an email from me. So, okay. Next thing we wanted to do is move on to the treasurer's reports, and we'll start here. Can you see the balance sheet now for the calendar 2022?
Can you make your screen bigger?
Well, I can read off the balances.
Yeah.
We closed out the year in the business special account, $45.44. In just petty cash, 66 cents. And I'm keeping a close eye on that. And checking account, when we'll talk about this, we have at the close of the year $30,987.65. In our money market, we had $5,415.79. And in our savings account, $10.23 for total cash assets at the end of the year of $36,000 $379.97. Primarily due to the Terry Dufek donation.
Yes. I had this, somehow it disappeared here. I had your income
Did
expense.
did you want to recap the income and expenses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and start
Okay.
on that. I don't know if I can get to it really easily here.
Basically on the donation side of the income, $28,507, $25,900 of that was primarily from Terry Dufek donation. When you figure last year we had $1,800 as a donation income, that's a considerable increase. Our membership, we ended up with a total membership dues of $1,407 compared to $1,282 in 2021. So we were up $120 some in dues. Expenses were pretty much the same usual expenses. We ended up the year with a positive $27,157 compared to the prior year of $1,300. So we had a nice bottom line increase thanks to Terry.
Okay.
That summarizes the income and expenses.
Okay. You also had here.
Well, the other one's the detail.
Well, this is just the
Quarterly.
quarterly. This is through the end of February, and it's winter months. We didn't do a whole lot.
Right.
Not too much you can say about that, but basically that's where we are here on that. Okay. If I can stop the sharing there. Okay, yeah. I got these other things covering my screen. Sometimes it's hard to see where we are here. Okay. Okay, things keep moving around on the Zoom screen here, so let's see if I can get back to it. Okay. Next, we want to move on to the secretary and editor's report. Paul has been putting the minutes of our previous meeting out in the newsletter, and they've been published. We have everything out distributed all on the newsletter through the end of February, which is up to the last newsletter you should have received in this past week. So we'll if anybody has any questions or comments about the minutes of previous meetings as published there, there's a chance to bring them up. What we should do at this time is entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's reports and the secretary's reports and minutes as printed and distributed here.
So moved.
And it was moved, I heard Roy and Waylon, one of them moved and one of them seconded it back there in the corner there. So, okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Have official minutes and treasurer's report. Okay, we'll move on. Dino, Vice President's report. Do you have anything to report this time?
Nothing at all for February and March. It's pretty quiet for us.
Yeah, quiet winter everywhere. Observatory Director's report.
Well, PAC is still covered up. Unfortunately, Mother Nature is not allowing us to uncover it too rapidly, so whether it'll be available for our first Coyote night this Saturday is kind of questionable. Right now it's looking kind of slim, but you know, things could change.
This week is looking like it's going to be a wet week.
Yeah, the other, our other observatory is available. Anybody that is trained on the scope is welcome to go out and use it. And if you're not trained, well, let one of us know. trained in there.
One of those who are trained could go out and help you set it up. I've done that a time or two, and
Yeah. no,
after a couple uses there, you would be trained for that.
Yeah, we did have a little issue with the shutter, but Al and I got that pretty well taken care of last fall, so that was all fixed and ready to go, and haven't had any problems since. I think Al's been out using it.
Yeah, that's working.
Yeah, so,
And for any of you who are interested in going out, we do have a rule, even with the members, we should always have at least 2 members present at the time.
yeah,
We don't have people going out there all by themselves.
well, only certain
Messing around
amount
with the
of us
equipment.
have the key to get in anyway. So, you gotta have one of them with you.
Right. Okay, thank you, Rusty. We'll move on to observing coordinators report. Al is getting ready to tell us what to look at Niamey this coming week.
Well, I have a list. I actually have a couple of lists. I'll send them out towards the end of the week, you know, as time gets closer to the Niamey Zoo event. And it's something that we can all use for Niamey, or we could use it, you know, anytime over the next few weeks. So I'll try and get that sent out here towards the end of the week, so we've all got it.
Very good. Useful to start a new serious observing session if we can just get a few clearings in the clouds by Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, move on to the Alcor report.
Not a whole lot to report.
I do want to note on here, the NACRL, the North Central Region Astronomical League, early bird registration for the convention. The deadline is Wednesday. It's 2 days from now. So to get the best rate to attend that out in Utica, Illinois, near Stardrop Park. And it's on May 5th and 6th. I think that's the dates. So they want early registration, so you can so they can make all the reservations, food and everything that you need. It's in links to do that are in our newsletter and online too. Does anybody have any other business at this time? Okay. We'll move on. I thought we were going to move on, but for some reason, advance button is not working. Okay, that's. Okay, here we go. We have a couple of awards to give out tonight, and we have one outreach award when a member participates in a certain number of public outreach events. They get an award, the Astronomical League Outreach Award. And at this time, Rolando Gamino has achieved the work to do that. And I can't see the list from here. Rolando, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, congratulations. I have this, I can't, the best I could do would be show it up here in front of my face here. This is the award certificate for Rolando for outreach programs. Rolando's helped out at several of the programs we've had, Niamey schools, libraries and such, and very deserving of this award.
Thank
you.
Okay. Hear that on the Zoom. Okay, you will get that as soon as you connect with us at one of the programs or meetings here. And Roy, I think you have an award to pass out tonight.
Yes, I do. The Astronomic League has many programs that you can take advantage of. And one of the, I think, challenging one is the Carbon Stars. where you have to award or view and record the data on 100 carbon stars. Oh, hey. How do I look? Can you Photoshop me into it? Anyway, so we have a member, so far, there's been 146 people who have completed the program of observing carbon stars. And only 2 have actually done the imaging of the carbon stars, just recorded the data. But Al Scheidler, our member here, is the number 146th person who's going to receive the certificate of completion of the carbon star, and he's only one of 2 that ever has photographed all 100 of them. And I submitted that. So I think that's pretty good that he spent the time to not only observe them, record the data, but also take it and photograph these carbon stars. So Al, if you want to come up, I have the certificate, and if I can get the pen out of my pocket. There you go, Al, congratulations. I know it's a lot of work.
Oh, wow. I gotta look at these pins.
Yeah.
I'm collecting these pins. Oh, that's nice. Oh, thank
There are
you.
2 awards there, so see me after the meeting, I'd say explain why you got 2.
I got 2.
Yeah. The first one he sent was without the I, which is 146I, which indicates the image.
Oh,
And the second one, he just had me print off, so we have to change the one. With the
Okay.
I. So,
good. 2 awards in one.
2 awards in one.
My dad always said I was double trouble.
I agree with that, 100%.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Roy, and thank you, Al. Very good work. We, several of us who have attended observing sessions, got to look at some of those images that Al was taking because he was out there, and every night we were out, seemed to have a different carbon star in his telescope.
Yeah, actually, the carbon stars are pretty easy. Photographically to do.
What are they, Al? I don't even know.
Well, carbon stars are stars that are at the end of their evolutionary lifespans, and they've expanded out to be, supergiant stars. They're very low temperature, and they have carbon soot, if you will, in their atmospheres, and usually they're red. They're kind of reddish in color, so you can tell when you found one because they definitely are orange or kind of Mars colored, kind of rust colored stars compared to everything else, which tends to be white or yellow or blue in color. So it's good, and you can use it. You can use a scope like that right there to do it.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna hear about that pretty soon here too. With that, it's time to move on to learn a little bit something from our members tonight. So Dino, if you're ready there, Dino coordinates the Smorgasbord talks that we have approximately every 3 months or about 3 times a year. And tonight we have at least 4 of them, and I think we'll have some comments about a 5th.
One more that's been added in. And
So
we'll have 5.
Dino, I will stop sharing here and be able to start sharing the Smorgasbord talk information.
Great. Now you're going to be our first presenter.
Oh, you want me to go first?
And so if you're going to be viewing the scope, you want some hands and moving it out.
Well, yeah, I suppose we could move it. Well, but maybe we better not. The wire, I gotta plug it in there. Before we move it, let me give myself a slack.
All right.
That's me.
Right.
Okay, this particular telescope right here was donated to the club. What was the guy's name? I forgot now. From Muscatine.
Yeah,
Sarah would remember.
yeah, I don't have that with me right now.
Anyway, this scope was donated. It was one that he had. And I think it had been in the garage for a while. Spiders got inside of it. it needed to be taken all apart and cleaned. So I did that, and then the electronics weren't working either. So I tore that apart as well and got that repaired. This is probably about the, I don't know, 5th or 6th or 7th telescope, of this type. This is a Meade LX200, telescope. This particular scope, I think, is probably at least 25, maybe 30 years old. So, a lot of the scopes, when they get to be this old, cease functioning. And, so they're, available as, donations. We've got another scope like this. Dale, you have a 7-inch. This is a 10-inch. So this is quite a bit larger. This particular scope here is a, like I say, it's a Meade 10-inch. So we're talking about the diameter of the lens in the front here is 10 inches in diameter. So that affords you quite a bit of magnification capability. I had to take this all off and clean it out on the inside because, like I said, there was a lot of spider webs inside of it and dead flies and things. And I've been working with it here this winter to get it functional again. And I thought I'd just bring it up here tonight and let you folks take a look at it. This is a club scope, so it would be available, to anybody that would want to use it. Yeah, that's a club member.
You didn't want to see the spiders close up?
No, not really. These scopes really are pretty robust, but like I say, the electronics wear out after about 25 or 30 years. Thankfully, I know a guy over by Detroit that has these parts. Roy, you've got one almost exactly like this. And I've got one exactly like this too. The only difference is this scope is a what they call a wide field. So it has a focal length of 1,600 millimeters, whereas the scope that you and I have is 2,500 millimeters. This is 1,600 millimeters. So what we're talking about, I don't know how much folks know about this kind of scope, but let me I don't know if you can see down inside of the scope here. You see a mirror in the back.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lens in the front and a mirror in the back. Can everybody see that?
No, I can't see a thing because all I see is a black screen that says Catherine Butterworth.
You gotta be here in person to see it here, I think.
Yeah, I do not know what happened. Usually, the Butterworth Center here has their own video camera mounted atop the display here, and
They don't have the video
it's not
camera.
here.
I just hit the start video and you don't see it.
No, there's no.
No, it's usually mounted up there.
There's no camera there.
Did it fall behind?
No,
No, it's just not here. Not here at all.
Turn this off.
Mhm.
How about on Dale's laptop? Can you do that?
Yeah, is your laptop connected up, Dale?
yeah,
Okay,
let's
can you
see.
turn it around here?
I'm gonna see what I can do here, hopefully without losing anything.
Yeah, there we go.
Start to get it there.
Okay,
Yeah, can you see that now, Liz? There we go.
yeah.
See it?
Nope, all I still see is a black screen that says Catherine Butterworth.
You have to look at my screen,
Yeah, look at
Dale's
Dale,
screen.
look at Dale's screen. Dale, your Dale's
I
sharing.
can see it. This
Yeah.
is, I can see it. It's Dale's screen.
Yeah,
Is it possible to put that, display that as the whole screen?
It's possible.
yeah,
Because it looks pretty tiny from here.
yeah. Hang on.
Speaker. That's it right there. Upper right, see Dale.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Now, so do is hit the, there's a button in the corner.
Okay, let's see if we can hit it.
That's more better.
And what do you want, full screen?
Yeah, go with full screen if you
Where
can.
is it? Can't see.
I can't see it either. How about, is it view? Up here to,
Oh, yeah,
up to view and
go up to view
view.
and,
And,
Speaker.
well, the problem is, this is the speaker here. We need to,
That's Liz Robinson.
well, that's really unfortunate that we don't have the camera here. That was
What was it say?
exit full
She said
screen.
if we had problems, we could go find her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better,
She said she was in the office, we have to call him, but.
I didn't bring my
I just really looked for that one.
Pam's going, Dale.
Oh, okay. She's on her way there, so.
well, anyway, while we're waiting, I'll let people in the room here look at it anyway. Has everybody seen the inside of the scope? So if you can see in there, there's a mirror way in the back. And there's a lens called a corrective plate in front.
So you're saying that members could borrow this?
Yep. Yeah, this is a club scope. And we have a slightly smaller version of this. It's a 7-inch. The nice thing about a scope like this, and I'll demonstrate it for you here. It's computerized. To turn it on, you wait for a moment. And it takes a moment to initialize. Okay, so what do you want to look at? You want to look at Mars? Let's see here. I don't do that. Well, but that's about where Mars is.
Mars is very.
They got one of those swimming pools?
Well, if we could open the dome here,
Oh, that's it.
Mars would be up there. Now the scope knows where everything is. It keeps track of all the planets. And this particular one doesn't keep track of the moon, but if you know the coordinates of the moon, you can punch that in and it'll go to where the moon should be. And the same thing, with any of the same thing with any of the stars, or Messier objects or anything else that you would have. We're getting the camera, hopefully.
Not good.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking and being visible too.
It's the bag of tricks that I can magically conjure up electronic devices.
Usually that is sitting there a lot of times on top or right around here. And didn't even think about it.
It's okay.
I thought most of the speakers are going to be coming up by the lectern here.
You are all good.
Yeah. Now we should start video on the Butterworth.
Behind it, maybe.
Yep.
Where is it?
So if you go back on this screen right here, so there's a start video. So you'll click
There we go.
start video
Let's get it up.
on the
USB
USB device. Yep.
Okay.
And so then you can readjust.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Okay,
Is that somebody from the Butterworth Center?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, should
What
be,
would that be? Oh, I didn't adjust it.
that looks okay, because we can see Al and the scope in the field of view there.
Here, let me
Yeah, one matter.
tilt that up a little bit.
Actually, I'm gonna do, sorry, I'm just
Yeah,
now.
put it up behind, yeah.
That will work better.
Sorry, guys, sorry, folks, you are seeing behind the scenes of the thingy.
Behind the scenes.
Okay.
Behind the scenes view. Now we're seeing the ceiling.
Okay, it's. How's that look? We got the
That's-
scope and Al
That's
in
pretty good.
in
Well,
the view
anyway,
now.
the,
Now you can.
It's a nice postage stamp view.
yeah, so how do we get it to be
Okay,
full
you have to
screen?
go up here and show the speaker, I think. Under view,
You say this is the one we want here.
There we go.
Now we'll view.
view, speaker and full screen, yeah. Oh, there's a scope up close.
Can everybody see me now?
Same thing.
Can you see me?
I can see you in a postage stamp.
Oh,
So I don't understand that. We got full screen here.
oh, I think at home on your computer, you have to also enable a speaker view. The upper right where it
Yeah.
says view, click on that and then click on speaker.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that should do it.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, how's that?
It's fine.
Okay, good. So what I'm gonna start over here. I'm just gonna turn this off real quick. As long as we're looking at it. with the Camera. Here's the front working end of the telescope. For your viewers at home. Can you see inside the telescope there? It's kind of busy. Right there, you can see there's a mirror in the back. There's a lens in the front. It is a 10-inch aperture opening in the front. So it's a pretty good size scope. It has a focal length of 1,600 millimeters. Now, what that means, if you took if you had a standard lens type telescope, the old traditional type that you look in the end and lens way in the front, it would be 1,600 millimeters long. With this scope, the way it works, you have a lens in the front, and you have a mirror in the back, and then right here also in the front is another mirror on the inside of the telescope. So light comes in here, goes through the lens in the front, bounces off the mirror in the back, which is curved. And that light then is focused back towards the front, where it hits this mirror behind the lens, called the corrector plate. And it bounces it back down into the back of the telescope here and comes out through the eyepiece here in the back. Now there's a diagonal here, they call it, which is basically a mirror that sits here at a 45-degree angle that lets the light come out of the back end of the scope, bounces it up here so you can look in the eyepiece comfortably, especially if you're looking up in the sky. You don't want to try to get down like that and look in the back of the telescope. What's going on here?
Somebody needs to mute their microphone.
This little telescope here is the finder scope. It's basically about the same power as what you would have with one side of a binocular. It's just a monocle, you want to call it that, a little spotting scope. We need that for aligning the scope. But if you have the scope set up reasonably close to north, south, like I've got right here, it's got calibrations here on the side. Right there, if we start reasonably well, if this is pointed south, which I think is pretty close. If we turn this on, the telescope has its own internal computer. And it takes a moment to boot up, but it knows where everything is. Once it's initialized, it knows the time and the date. It doesn't know where it's at on the surface of the earth. This is an old fashioned scope. You have to tell it where it's at, but as long as you're in the Quad City area, it works fine just with the coordinates for any zoo. If you go more than like 50 miles, you probably have to reprogram that.
John Douglas, you might want to mute your mic.
So
already
now,
muted. Somehow I'm on twice.
so if you want to look at Mars, type in the data for Mars. The telescope will automatically go to Mars. And obviously we can't see it because of the ceiling here, but that's about where Mars is. Now, the telescope is not aligned to the sky. There's an alignment procedure that you would actually want to do when you take it out at night. And that's pretty simple. You just have to find two known stars that you point to the telescope at in succession and identify those to do an alignment. Once it's aligned, then it literally will find everything automatically, just at the touch of the keypad. So what do you want to see? No, we can't see that. Even if the sky was clear, we would not be able to see Saturn tonight because it's behind the sun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Where we are now.
How about Jupiter? You want to do it? Okay, so what you do is you type star 905. 905 05 and enter. Here. Okay, it says Jupiter, right? Now hit go to. There you are. There's Jupiter. How about Venus?
It says that Jupiter hasn't quite set.
Now Jupiter is getting close to
Yeah.
You want to find Venus?
Sure.
Okay, any idea how to do that?
Nope.
Well, Jupiter's 5. That's why it's 905. What's Venus? Venus is number 2, right? Earth is number 3, Mars is number 4. So 902. 0. Okay, hit the mode button. Okay, try it again. Star 902. Okay, and then go to. There you go. So I would say after a few minutes of playing with this scope outside, any one of you here could operate the scope now. Looking through the optics, this is the focus knob. Here's eyepieces that we can change for different magnifications. But basically, it's pretty simple. The hard part setting it up. This is fairly heavy. I would recommend 2 people do it. I do it myself because I've practiced and done enough weightlifting. I can do it.
You're in good shape now. After you set these up a few times, you're in good shape.
But I would say that if anybody here wants to use the scope, I'm going to try to make a point of bringing it out to Niagara Zoo and our other observing sessions for the public and for our club sessions. If anybody wants to come out and get checked out and learn how to use the scope, we would appreciate it. So I don't know. Any questions?
Jacket on, cleaning it all up and.
If anybody is curious, I'm gonna turn it.
Spiders.
Yeah, I got a lot of spiders out of it. If anybody would want to, look at something, this is kind of cool. After we're done here, I don't want to dominate the whole meeting here, but here's the exit sign.
That's a lot of cool things in here to look at.
There's not a lot of cool things to look at, but this is really cool. I mean, you're laughing, but that's really amazing. All right, I'm gonna take this off so we don't trip over the wire.
We've done some similar things at John Deere Middle School when the weather was bad. We actually set up the telescopes right in the hallway and pointed it down 150 feet in the hall so they can see what's at the other end.
I did that, I was pointed at the exit sign.
I guess if you put me outside.
All right, well, thank you, Al.
Okay,
All right, our next presentation. Wayland? If you'd like to come on up, let's get you started.
Now, which do I use to?
Yeah, share.
Okay, now you gotta share it up.
Here. Okay, share screen. And we want this one.
okay, there it is.
Good, now let's get our presentation going. Oh, what we want to say. From the game. I'll say.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. If I happen to use the name of somebody in the club tonight, as they go through, it's not because I really want to pick on them, but they have been important people along the way, and they kind of done some things that Paul repeated attention to them, I think. But the first thing I want to talk about is I am not a very good cold weather astronomer. And this looks to me like a typical December, January, February afternoon. And I go to my computer and I see I have this email from Al. And this email says, would anyone like to go out to the observatory with me tonight? I think it's going to clear off. And it would be a good night to see a planetary conjunction or a comet, or I just happen to have this list of 600 things. And he says, by the way, the temperature will probably be in the low 20s or teens, and the wind will be about 20 miles an hour. So please dress warmly.
Something.
Left mouse should do it, or the right mouse button. Or the right button. There.
My answer is no. I'm not going. Unfortunately,
someplace back around 2011, I had a heart attack. And they put me on blood thinner. And ever since then, I sit in my living room in the winter time, shivering. I don't need to go out to the observatory when the temperature is 15 degrees and the wind is blowing. I'd rather be out there in the summer when it's warm and there's a mosquito or two around. So I can think of some other things that I would rather do at this particular point. I'd rather put a puzzle together. Now, puzzles, if you put them together, you can find all kinds of astronomy puzzles. This one shows a little bit of history and what maybe an early observer had for equipment. And so you can put this together. There are other styles that happen to go back to artwork, and you can put them together and view them. There are others that reflect specific things to study. Now, one thing I'd like you to notice here is I have a piece of plywood behind this. You can use a card table. I'm using a collapsible astronomy table that is made up of a bunch of about 2-inch wide sections, and puzzles don't go together very well on that. So I put the plywood down, but that also makes it easy for me to sit in one place and to turn the whole wood around, the puzzle goes around, and so I can get to wherever I want to work from that particular spot. I will point one thing out. When you start looking at puzzles, one of the things that you don't want to do is have lots of pieces all of the same color. That makes it a little bit more difficult to take care of as you work your way through. Makes things a little bit more challenging. Now, there's some warnings. There's key decisions that have to be made. One of those key decisions is, where will you assemble the puzzle? If it's at our house, you could put it on the dining room table, but I don't know where you're going to eat for a while, because I tend to take a month or better to get the whole puzzle together. And besides, I like to watch the TV, so I take up a spot by the couch and go to work on it. But luckily, my wife will put up with that. So think about, where are you going to try to assemble it? The second question that's very important is, what will you do with the finished puzzle? You've got a few choices. A couple of them I didn't even think about. First, you get all done, you take it apart, replace it in the box, and then you take it to the club banquet and give it away as a door prize. Or you find someone else that you might want to do it. Or, this is the one I wish I thought of first. Take a photo, make an 8.5 by 11 print, and put it in a notebook. And then take the puzzle apart, put it back in the box, and take it to the banquet for a door prize. Or, the one that I mistakenly decided to do was to glue all the pieces of the puzzle together and then put it on some nice fancy paper and then put it in a frame and then hang it on a wall. Well, if you came to our house now, there's 2 hanging on the wall upstairs, and behind the front door, there's probably 4 or 5 more, and down in the basement next to my computer table, there are 2 or 3 more that are down there. I didn't really figure out this concept of taking a photo first, and obviously I should have. Now,
Prizes for the banquet.
if we go to the normal procedure here, a little bit later, you'll be looking at some of the pictures that some of these people have taken. And they love to share at the end of our show or programs. And they're beautiful pictures. So I decided, well, I've done a little bit of traveling. And I decided, I took a picture one place. Meteor crater outside of Winslow, Arizona. And I'm kind of hidden there behind well, in this picture I show up, not here in the computer, but my wife took this picture of me taking the photograph. This is the photograph I got. And I decided to make a puzzle. Now, I forgot a couple of my cardinal rules. There's an awful lot of that puzzle that's all the same color. And that makes it a little bit difficult in trying to put it together. So, but then you go through the steps of putting the puzzle together. Step one for me is to find all of the straight edged pieces. And then all the corners, and put it together. And then I got the genius idea in this particular case to find where that line was between the sky and the ground and put all those together. And then I thought, okay, now I can just work on half the puzzle at a time. And so I started working on the bottom up. You also notice over there in the left, if you do it this way, you don't have a nice box that has a picture of the puzzle. So I printed a picture, at least I had something to refer to as I was trying to put it together. Now, I keep asking my wife to help me. And a lot of times she'll sit in her chair and kind of look and say, it's not time yet. Let me see you suffer a little bit more. But there seems to be this time when all of a sudden she says, okay, I'll help you now. So she gets to put the last two pieces in and say, see, I helped. I'd help you put it together.
Teamwork.
So now we go into the process of mounting it. Don't decoupage them. I did that with the very first puzzle I ever got, and it was Al's fault. Al gave that to me one year. I think it was for an attendance award or something. It was a puzzle picture of the New York Times when man first landed on the moon. So there were several pictures of them, and all the rest of it is newspaper print. And it was a real problem putting it together. And then you're trying to coat this stuff all over to glue the pieces together and polish it all off. And I thought, nuts, that's just no good. There's got to be something better. So my wife suggested, I think I've seen some stick-it paper. And so we went to Hobby Lobby and we found this, and I don't know, they give you a dozen sheets or better, and it's not that expensive. But then you also still have another neat assignment to do. Because you don't put this stick-it paper on the front of the puzzle. You put it on the back of the puzzle. Now think about that. You got the puzzle face up and you got to put it on the back. So somehow you got to turn it over. Now, if any of you get to this point, call me for help. I'm not going to try to explain it to you here. Just notice I use like one of those three-fold things that they use for science fairs and stuff like that. I actually use two of them to do it. And it takes Ann and I both to hold on to it, to hold it all together while you turn it over. And then you start laying these things down. Don't have to cut them or anything. Just lay them down and then you roll them out. And make sure they stick real good. And once you've got that down, so they're all sticking good, you can just pick it up and it stays all in one spot.
The pieces can overlap
Yeah, you can overlap pieces.
You don't have to
you don't
cut
have to
them
cut it
to
or
the
anything.
exact dimension.
And then you get done. You found it in a frame. And you put it on the wall. And then you do another one and they start figuring out, what do I do with the last one? So this is what I do in the winter time to enjoy astronomy. Any questions?
How many pieces were in that one?
1,000. And oh, and by the way, if you go online, there's several places you can send a photo to, and they will send you puzzles of almost any size.
We found that the ones from the picture, the pieces were much thinner than regular puzzle pieces, and it was much harder to work with.
It was much harder to flip over without it coming apart. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. All right, Anne, if you'd like to come up, please.
I have to put my celestial clothes on to do this. This is my bathrobe that I really have been enjoying, and it has, as you can see, moons and a repeating made up constellation. So don't use this for a scientific study.
Here, I'm sharing your screen right now, so everyone can see it. Here it comes. Now, can everyone see that? Pardon?
Telescopes in the way.
Oh, the telescopes. Well, let's move the telescope. We'll need it for the next one anyway. All right. Okay, no problem. That's good.
You can move it back a little bit.
Back a little bit.
Yeah.
I had the same problem, couldn't see the screen earlier.
Keep going, keep going.
How many?
Oh, no, we changed our mind. We'll go back.
All right. So we've got your screen shows here. You can simply come down here and the right will take you one further up. Yeah, that's there it is, right there. No, if you want to, I'll just sit here. Just tell me when you want the next one. Look.
Yeah, my
So
present,
this is your first photograph.
this is my presentation tonight on objects that you can get that relate to our hobby.
And she actually has it out there in the hallway too. You can
Yeah,
see it.
how many happen to notice the blanket on the table when you came in? Well, you have to check it out before you leave and not only look at it, but feel it because it's very thick, it's very warm. And our family chooses names out of a hat for Christmas. And this year, our daughter-in-law got my name, and I was so lucky. And she has really been on a roll through the years, buying us different kinds of celestial objects for gifts. Like Waylon got a billfold with constellations punched into the leather. And then there was a crystal thing with a light under it that showed things in the heavens. And then they gave us a globe with it says Mars, and you shake it. Instead of a snowflake globe, it's the dust of Mars that settles, and there are little people there. So she's had a lot of fun over the years. So here she gets my name. She called me in early December and asked me for where my 3 kids were born, what town they were born in, what date and what time of the day they were born. I forgot all about that until Christmas Eve. I'm getting her presents and I open it up, and here is this very nice blanket, very thick, and it's over 6 feet by 8 feet. And in the corner, when you go out there, you'll see a rectangle with our son's statistics that I gave her over the phone. It's got his birth date and the hour he was born and what town, Davenport, Iowa, he was born in. So this is a blanket of the night sky, the afternoon that he was born, October 28th, 1980. Kind of a nice present. So we've been sleeping under that since December 25th. Oh yeah, you can see the little plaque there. So then I'm not done opening presents. She has a very nice tumbler I've been using all the time. Sippy cup tumbler, one for the birth date of our daughter in January, and one for our birth date of our daughter in August, the night sky for those two girls. And I have been studying all kinds of maps to see how accurate this information is. And I've decided the constellations are pretty accurate. The placement of them is pretty accurate. The only thing that they've done with their artistic ability is to make the dots bigger than they would be on a regular sky map. So how many of you know about magnification charts, where it goes from tiny dots to really big dots? And you'll see that I brought a couple along in case you're not familiar with that. So the thing is, with the bigger dots, it makes you think about the constellation more, and it's really kind of the way we wish we could see. So let's go on to the next slide. Close up.
There's that,
Oh,
those are the
those are
marks
just-
that you were just showing.
Okay.
For Orthodox.
Yeah, so
And here is a different view of the same.
all right, you notice when you look at these out in the hall, you can compare the movement of the constellation right above the words, so you can see that it is a different map. It actually is a different map. And
then these two things.
oh,
And then this.
okay, that's what I'm looking
Showing
for. I did a couple close-ups. This is the summer triangle with Altair and Lyra and Vega and Deneb, just so you could see that part of the sky on the blanket. And then there should be one. There we go. I found that all the products have the North Star and the circumpolar constellations that go around them: Cephas, the Big and Little Dipper, Draco the Dragon, and they even had the giraffe constellation, which that was the only thing I couldn't figure out that went with reality, was the way they had that drawn. But we can't see that one anyway, so oh well.
Sorry. All right.
So speaking of celestial things you can buy for gifts, I got this in Chicago at the Adler Planetarium, and it says on it summer constellations. But I noticed that every single star in all these constellations is the same size. So it's not accurate. This is not accurate. My bathrobe isn't accurate, but we can enjoy all of these things because they go with our hobby.
All right, thank you very much.
Now, there is a card that goes with this company, and I have copies of their business card. They sell all kinds of things to drink out of, and 2 sizes of blanket. And they sell them in city maps of where you were born. So that's shifting to another subject, but they do not only sky maps, but city maps, so you can order all these things in the town where you were born or someone else was born. So I don't know if you want to show the card, the business card.
Was that the card that we actually?
Yeah,
That's-
the company's called Well Told. And the back of it has the site that you can go to at the bottom. Well told.
Design.com.
Exactly, so I have copies of that out in the hall if you'd like to see them. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The simple one, and the second here, pop over this quick. There we go. And I'm going to share screen. In just a moment here. You can find it. A second here. All right, now. Not popping up yet, is it? I'll change a different screen here. Share here. There it is. All right, now. Well, wintertime, we have some fun. We have more time to do things. Even though we're still working and doing other things too, I still had some time for the astronomy stuff. We weren't out observing. And I've got my telescope mount, which is a nice ioptron. It's the 8700 all azimuth mount. And it's a great little mount to use. It has one little issue, and that is, let me get this down out of the way here. And that is that when I mounted it on a very old telescope stand. This is from last summer when we were at the Kiwani Library. And you can see my mount here with a hole to bring it up to the right height. And I literally have the mount bolted onto the tube. Very solid, you know, it holds it nicely. But getting it balanced is a bit of a pain. You have to go down here, adjust the legs back and forth. When you're in grass, you can push it into the grass a little deeper. It makes it a little easier that way, but you never quite get a nice, easy balance on it. So I thought, let's find out what's going on with this. Now, let me bring the thing over here for the main screen. I'll show you. A little closer, a little further. There we go. Weight that down just a bit. There. Maybe a little better view of it. All right, so what I found is on the bottom of my mount, I've got it, there's a triangle section. And I took some measurements of it and I figured 6 inches works. All right, so I started doing a few designs on it. Found a couple of devices that they sell at ioptron for mounting the telescope. And with one of their designs found that they actually have this at 126 millimeters all the way across. They've got a nice little piece with 3 holes in it. And the 3 holes holds some equipment to help you balance the telescope. Now, this is an item that I actually purchased here in January. And this mount is for a different type of ioptron mount. That would be for the CEM Model 40. Right. And it has a number of holes on top, including 3 larger holes, of course, for mounting, but it won't fit my telescope. So I looked at it a little bit. And again, wintertime, not much else to do, thinking about things. Let's come up with something. So I found the design for it, again, for a top piece that they sell, with the correct holes in the center, 1 large hole for mounting the main bolt that holds the mount in place, 3 small holes. And they're 10mm holes, 1.5 on the thread. Okay. And I thought, okay, let's see if we can do anything with that. So I went out and found this piece. This is another piece of cell dioptron. And you notice there's the center bolt for holding it, and these 3 nice little thumb screws. So what you do is you bolt it in place, you leave it a little loose, and then you use the 3 little thumb screws, and you can then get the telescope balanced correctly. So that it is center balanced. When it's center balanced, you can find things easily. If it's not, then over the course of the night, things kind of go asunder, they go awry, you can't find things as easily. So it's nice to get the balance exactly right. So I went back, kind of redesigned it, and then came up with this drawing. And I took this drawing to one of the local welding shops. It happened to be Pools Welding in Milan, Illinois. And they've done some very nice work for me in the past. They've actually put together aluminum square pieces for mounting brackets for cameras for me, for instance, at the Rock Island Library and elsewhere, and special mounting equipment. And so I thought, let's go to them. I took it to them, we looked at it and said, okay, about half an hour's time and I'll be able to put it on the machine. And then we'll cut it out and we could do it either in steel or aluminum. I thought, well, let's do steel. So he cut it out. That's another small design for it. Okay, same thing. And this is the piece that he came up with. It's a 6-inch disc of steel, 3/8 inch thick. In the center, we've got a nice 12mm hole where I can put my center bolt through. We've also got over here in each of these corners, 1, 2, 3 holes, which are 10mm and threaded. And then I've got 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6mm holes there, which help me mount it onto the base for that and any other base that I want to connect it to. This is the bottom side of it. There's the top side. Okay. So after the cutting and everything else, there's, a little bit of spooling from the wheels they use to clean up the edges and some other things too. And I thought, okay, well, let's see what else we're gonna do. So we take it next, and I take little bits of tape and I round the tape over and put it in each of the holes so I can keep paint out of it. And then this is what it looks like here, a little bit better view. That's with a primer coat on it. It's a nice green coat, nice army green, you might say. And eventually I'm either going to paint it black to match the rest of the mount, or I might do fire engine red just to give it a nice contrast. I think I'll do the fire engine red. I think it will. All right. So this is my base. Right. Here it is. I've got it now mounted on my stand, this particular stand. I'm using the base at the bottom, which is actually for the CEM 40. All right. And I've got the bolts coming through, and on each of them, I've got a small steel sleeve or cylinder. And you can buy them at the hobby store for like $1.50 each. So I've got 4 of them on there, nice little washer at the bottom, so they're all at exactly the same height. Got 6mm bolts here and there, and then a longer 6mm screw going through. This is an open hole here, and you can see there's a small bolt at the bottom, nut to hold it in place. And this 4th one over here actually goes down into one of the open holes, but since I can't get a nut on it, I simply have a washer on the inside, and it holds it at the right angle. So I've got 3 bolts to hold it steady in place. And I've also done down at the bottom too, 3 bolts on the bottom. The original design was only 2 bolts. That's nice, but if the equipment gets too heavy, I don't want to tilt through the braking or breaking a bolt off. So a 3rd bolt makes it a little more stable. And it's very stable at that. Here we go. Now, this is what it looks like with the nice thread holders. The 3 flywheels, which are there to help mount, get the telescope to mount. And there's my center bolt. And the center bolt, actually in this particular kit, has a hole in the middle. And you put another, this one is a 4mm bolt that goes all the way through it with a nut on the other end. And it helps you turn the bolt. You can turn it by hand. Or in my case, since we've got an open bottom, I use a wrench. And I tighten it up at the bottom also. And then we get the telescope on there. There we go, that's with the bolt through the hole. And this is again, this is where, back at the museum, you have to forgive me, we've got a lot of Ellen's dolls in place, they're all over, can't help it. All right, but that's what it looks like with the bolt hole through. Okay. And here it is, excuse me, go back one. And here it is with the mount actually attached. And the first time I put it on, although you may not see it in this photograph, it's dead center for level, dead center level. Usually I'm off by a fraction one way or another, and messes you up, and of course, this one dead center, just a few adjustments, and it's done. So it worked out really well. So that's one of my projects for winter time. A nice little bolt to get everything together. Now I have some other things I was going to share tonight, but I think we're probably going to run out of time. And at some point or other, I'm actually going to show you a new program that I found called Gaia Sky. And it's based on the Gaia Space Telescope, of course, and all of the information that's used with that. I put that on my laptop originally. My laptop had 8 megabytes of RAM to run it. And I ran that program and it took half an hour for the program just to start up. It was incredibly slow that way. So I updated it. I put 32 gigabytes, no, excuse me, 64 gigabytes of RAM on it instead. And now it pops up in about a minute and a half, and it is loaded with a large number of different databases. 15 or 20 of them that you can put in there, including things such as carbon stars, Al. Okay. And you can load up the different databases as you run the program. It even has a couple of interesting things such as stereo vision. In other words, you get left and right views, a spaceship that can travel from one place to the next within the program. You can zoom out any of the particular stars and everything else streams around you. It looks like you're actually traveling through space at the time. It's a little much. That's a little fun to look at, but we'll look at that some other time. All right, but that's it for my presentation, and thank you very much. Now we've got one more individual who actually would like to speak. If you'd like to come up, please. I'm going to turn off the sharing, and we can, if you want, we can have you stand here and give your presentation. Very good.
Where do you want me?
Come on up. The simplest thing would be to stand here in front of the monitor and everything's right there for you. Just
Turn around or just
no,
stand
you can
here?
face the monitor and say hi there.
Oh,
Say
okay.
hello, everyone. Give everyone your name, please.
I'm Nancy Bolins. I have a granddaughter, Tiffany Fields, who 3 years ago when we had our affair down in downtown Moline, she was one of the program presenters. She lives up at Halifax, Nova Scotia. She at that time was working on her master's degree in astronomy, and she did get it. And she is now a teacher's assistant and lives in Halifax. And she works for the University of St. Mary's University, and she also does work by internet for the junior college in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is just to the west of Detroit, and she is working with a professor there. He gives the program, and then the students have to go to her to get their worksheets to do these programs that he presents. So my daughter came over about 3 weeks ago and she says, Tiffany made a YouTube video and it's called, we tried to find it tonight, but of course we can't, is Celestron Star Sets Faster Than an Observatory Telescope. This was a friend of hers who had bought a telescope about the same diameter as that one, but it was, I think, probably twice as long. And he had bought this and he says, I want to see if my telescope measures up to the one that you've got in the observatory. Now, the one in the observatory is a good 20 feet long. You can go in and look at it. It can find anything in the sky. If you want to get on your computer and go to St. Mary's, Halifax, and say, I want a picture of Mars on a good night, this telescope will find Mars, take your picture, and send it to you. And I've seen the telescope. So in this video, which is about YouTube video, which is about 14 minutes long, she is narrating it, and they go up to the top on the 24th floor of the dormitory, and he's got his little telescope set up. And for hers, you go to the computer, and the computer tells the big telescope what it wants to see, and you punch in a few things. And so they compared the two. I especially enjoyed it because I could see when he was setting his one up outside of the observatory, or on the top floor, the skyline of Halifax in the back. And then when she was filming that, she went inside, and you can see how big this telescope is. And she gives programs from this telescope. If you've got a scout group, or she can't do a whole school room of kids because there's not that much room after this telescope in there. They can hold about 15 kids. And I think they discovered that for certain things, hers is a lot better, but for just an ordinary person with an interest in this, you can get a smaller one and observe outside. I also enjoyed seeing the telescope again in the dome. And then in one place you can see the dome, and it at night, if it's it will try and get your picture, and the dome rotates around, and the telescope inside will find the picture of Mars or Saturn or whatever you want to see, and it will take a picture, send it back, but it depends on the amount of clouds in the sky. But it is up on the 24th floor of the dormitory out there, and then the dome rotates around. But for the sentence, they decided that his smaller telescope does take good pictures, but hers is larger and it is more clear. But I enjoyed it. We tried it tonight to get it on his computer. We couldn't, but my,
We have it.
oh, you got it?
I got it too here.
Oh,
I finally did, yeah.
oh, good. Okay. If you want to look at it, it's only about 14 minutes. But I enjoyed seeing it with her, of course, because we only get to see her. Well, she does come home at Christmas, and we have been driving there during the summer. It's 3 days drive, but we go out. But it does show on that her big telescope in the observatory and his smaller one, and the lights of Halifax. And I just thought I would report on it, and they did find it on theirs. So you can probably go home and find it on yours too. I am not that mechanically inclined with that instead. So, but I enjoyed seeing it, and maybe you can show it tonight.
We'll show a couple minutes worth.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can show a couple of minutes. This place closes sharply at 9.
Okay,
So we have to
fine.
get some equipment to take out.
we're going to just share a few minutes of this. And when Paul gets the summary out of this meeting, he will include the link to this YouTube, which will be good.
So anyway, thank you very much. And Tiffany gave our presentation, of course, at our NACO convention in 2019. And one of the programs that she mentioned, and you mentioned it as well, it's their program at their college, which is the BGO Communicator, which allows you to connect directly to their telescopes. Set up a session that you want, a particular item that you want to photograph. You can do it in either in color or you can do it in black and white and a couple of other things too. And I've used it. It's a great program to use. And it was a pleasure to have her here for our convention as well. All right, thank you very much. And that's it for the here. We could show it as soon as Al, would you like to share that up? Got it up?
Yeah, if we can just show maybe a couple minutes. Paul also has a short item to present tonight.
So it'll be a sixth person in that case. Go ahead. Yeah. Let's just do like 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll put it up on our links after that. Of course, there won't be any sound at this point because we've had an issue with sound from other sheets here in the room, but we get an idea what they're showing, what they're doing.
Let me fast forward here to the territory.
Get past this and up to the actual program. There we go.
Okay.
Tiffany Field.
Tiffany Fields. That's my granddaughter's name.
Yeah.
So he's got a small telescope there.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
5-inch,
his.
it's less strong, yeah. That'll still work. As you get surprisingly sharp images, even with the small ones.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Well, that's him and that's about as big as his telescope was. I don't know what those.
No, this is not the right video.
We'll find it. I think we'll get it.
We will have that link in the
All right.
newsletter.
I had it there, but every time you stop it, then it starts over with some random video.
Yeah, he's using a ZWO camera that I can see.
Yeah, see, that's not. Back up.
Okay.
All right, we'll find
I think
it.
we'll have to move on to
Yeah.
Paul's item here and then we'll have to wrap it up.
Come on, Paul.
Okay.
All right, let's stop the screen sharing then, and then we'll go on from there.
Can you display the URL again?
We're gonna have to find the right one. I don't think we've got the correct one now, but we will find it and we'll put it up on the notes for the meeting. So that you should be able to find Tiffany's presentation after we do a little search for it.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
I'd like to announce that I'm retiring from Rockland North Star after 40+ years of federal service, effective April 3rd. So, yeah. But what I have is a book, Free to a Good Home. It's called The Last Stargazers by Emily Levesque, who's no relation to me apparently, but from the same part of the world. And she would put on a really good presentation if we could find her. She's at the University of Washington. I don't know if there's any way we could connect with her. Listen, I thought this book was really good. Got it for Christmas, so who wants it? You want to pass it around? No takers? What?
or we.
Great.
There.
All right.
We could establish a library and allow people to borrow it too.
That's not a bad
Or if
idea.
Roy takes it,
But it was.
we will know where it is, and if we want to look at it later, we can ask Roy.
But it was really, I thought it was really good. I mean,
Interesting.
I mean, what do you think? Thank you. But if you could find her, she's at the University of Washington. She put on a really good presentation.
Yeah, that's her.
All right, enjoy. That's it. Never heard of it.
Pardon? I heard this book. The last
right? Yeah, right.
I haven't read it yet, no.
I was really on the county. I got early. So I could tell you. Really well.
Where's gonna help with the big words and there's no picture?
Well, you're in trouble, boy, because you're not in Massachusetts. Dan's gonna have to read it to you.
Okay,
Bedtime story.
we have just a few minutes left here to share some of our member observations right now. And because I had one right here, this is the conjunction of a couple weeks ago on a Wednesday, or a week and a half ago, whenever that was. Venus on the right and Jupiter on the left there. That was about as close as they were going to get that
I
night.
saw that from my driveway.
What I liked was that they were nice and horizontal.
Yes.
One day, then 2 days later, they were vertical.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could see them,
I saw
pass,
it was vertical.
you could see them passing each other there. Does anybody else have a quick observation we can look at tonight?
I have some.
Can you do it in about, in about 3 minutes?
Probably not. Maybe I should save it for next time.
Maybe we should hold member observations for the next meeting, because you want to go over, and since we have quite a bit of equipment in here, it's going to take us a few minutes to get this down and get out so they can close up the building by 9 o'clock tonight. And okay, my screens keep disappearing here. Well, share. Too many pop-ups going around here. That's not the right one. Let's close that one. I know it's under there somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, why does
Yeah.
it move? Okay, here we go. Okay, it's not gonna let me do that, is it? Anyway, so you get it.
I can show you some card, I can show you a card star.
Okay. What I'm trying to do here is get to, okay. My screen is paused. Why is that? Okay, let me go back to go here. And try to
Now, is this specific information? I might have to have a telescope. Okay.
my files keep disappearing. Okay, scroll up here and share this. Okay. Moving on to the next things here we have coming up, of course, March 18th, we're going to Niabi Zoo. John Deere Middle School sessions. We are looking at working with the school on a flexible date for that when we see 2 or 3 days of good weather coming. The teacher there will let us know, and we'll try to get together a group to go out. It's helping them with their telescopes, so we're not doing a whole lot of, we're not taking PAC or anything out there. but they have a couple more sessions scheduled for this school season. And we'll be trying to get out there, hopefully with some observing weather, rather than doing an indoor program as we did when a couple of us were there about a month ago. And then again, next month in April, we'll have Niabi Zoo, and right after that, we're going to the Kiwani Central School. It's a fairly big program there for the public out in Kiwani. So. Okay. Okay, now we're stuck here. Okay, well, I think that's about all we can do for tonight. Ran a few minutes over what I planned to do. So thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody online. I didn't get the chance to look at the online list. I don't know if anybody from the other astronomy clubs are currently on there. We're glad to have you and enjoy sharing some of our programs with you. And we'll look forward to seeing all of you back for the next monthly meeting on April 10th. So until then, let's keep looking up. Thank you.
Good. All right, thank you.
Night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.
My child. Jason.